going on, guys? This is the 5 Year Pass podcast with me, Suddy, and this is Shyam bringing you the weekly preview for the games of the weekend. Premier League round two. Round one was exciting. Few upsets, a few surprise wins, I guess. I didn't think United was going to brush away leads like they did, but history's kind of shown that they can do it. But as always, we're going to focus on maybe the smaller teams, I guess. Not the Man United, not the Man Cities. We're going to start off with a great game. West Ham actually versus Leicester. It's West Ham's home game. It's a brilliant game. Two very attacking sides, emerging kind of top six, top seven sides that are going to consistently compete for Europe. It's going to be a big one, man. And just to kind of highlight what they did on the weekend, West Ham had a 4-2 win away at Newcastle. Started a bit slow. They got back into the game. Souček and Antonio bailed them out. And Leicester had a 1-0 win, and it's inevitable. Jamie Vardy scored. It's going to be a great game, isn't it, Sham? This one against West Ham versus Leicester.
Yeah, and it was a good, really good opening weekend of the season as well. I think it was the second highest amount of goals in the opening weekend of the season.
Oh,
in
really?
Premier League history. Yeah, one off the
Wow.
highest. Yeah, I mean, you look at West Ham 1-4-2, United 5-1, Liverpool 3-0. There were big scoring games.
Specific to opening days, you mean? But it's still a big deal, I guess.
Yeah, for an opening day of the season, and it was the most amount of goals scored. And you normally expect teams to at least have some idea of defensive structures, having done pre-season and things like that. Probably the one result that stood out for me was Arsenal losing to Brentford. Predictable, but unpredictable at the same time. So but both these teams, coming to West Ham and Leicester. Both teams had good wins on the weekend. West Ham, I thought they'd play ball in patches, but I think that they were still a bit all over the place. It was just kind of they were just better than Newcastle in big moments, as opposed to playing them off the park. Leicester, I think, had control of that game. They seemed to be moving a bit more from that counter-attacking side to being a side that wants more possession. They beat Wolves, had 57% possession, which is very unlike Leeds as well, Leicester as well. But they're trying to develop, and with that midfield, they should be looking to really get into that, play that type of football, and particularly with Vestergaard coming in. I think Vestergaard's going to have an impact with them as well. He's Dutch, so he's a good passer of the ball. And I think he'll give a bit more solidity to allow some of those guys to move forward a bit.
Actually, an interesting point I was thinking of. So, team news. I'll just get to team news quick, then I'll get to the question. So, Leicester have quite a few injuries, actually. They have Maddison, Bertrand, Castagne, Evans, Fofana, Mendy, and James Justin out. I was wondering, and then you think about who they have left. I was thinking, do you think Rodgers, and I'll just say West Ham have one injury in Masuaku, which I think it's almost irrelevant to the way they play at the minute because the team's kind of carried on from last year. Do you think Rodgers could revert to a back three with Vestergaard coming? Is that too slow?
I don't think. I mean, with West Ham, they play.
Leicester could revert to a back three. I mean, but yeah.
What I was saying is West Ham. I think they have a team that has Antonio up front, who's a striker, but not really a striker. He's a forward, and then they've got. They don't really have that sort of striker that I think could have a go at them. So I do think that Leicester, given that they bought Vestergaard specifically because of that injury to Fofana, which is a horrific injury. We've talked about it before. I think they're a bit short on centre back. So if they're going to go to back three, it's going to be someone who doesn't typically play centre back. They're just a bit short on numbers there. That might be what makes that decision. Also, you tend to, if teams have got more attacking players centrally, play the extra centre back. I don't think West Ham really have that about them. So I would expect really sort of a back four from Leicester.
Well, as far as this fixture goes, last season West Ham won twice. I mean, West Ham had a great season last year, and so did Leicester, to be fair. But they had the better of them twice. West Ham beat Leicester the first game 3-0 away. Antonio, Fornals, and Bowen scored the goals. West Ham won 3-2 at home. Ian Archer got a double. I actually remember that game really well. Leicester started brilliantly. Ian Archer got 2, and this was the start of Ian Archer's kind of resurgence. Obviously West Ham came back with the resurgence of the other resurgence of the season, which was Jesse Lingard getting 2 late goals. And previously, I'm looking at the last 2 seasons as well. 4-1 Leicester, 2-1 Leicester, and the season before that 2-1. So there's a lot of goals in this. A lot of very, very good strikers. I think overall it's going to be. I have to lean towards West Ham with this, and I'll just say why. I think West Ham are favourites going into this. They're a better unit. They've shown. I know it's one game. Shown they can score goals without Jesse and score very well. Declan Rice is a bit of a question mark at this stage of the season because he played so well in the Euros. Same as Calvin Phillips, struggling for a bit of fitness, and it's not a bad thing at all. It's just the way things are. but I expect more of the same for what they did against Newcastle. I think they're a very good unit. You're going to have Souček, Bowen, Fornals going forward. It's going to be a very interesting game. And Antonio as well coming in. You're going to see him try and bully Pereira off the ball a lot. You're going to see him not going to the center because there's two big boys there, and Soyuncu and Vestergaard. They do go with the back four, which is very expected. So I do see West Ham maybe potentially bullying and being very, very, very good, compact, not allowing Vardy to get down and counter attack. But I think Leicester will rely more on the counter attack until they get their full squad back. They have the second most injuries in the league. It's going to be a challenging few months for them.
Yeah, the players they've got out, that's a very good team of players that they've got out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And Iniesta as well, you touched upon him. People carried on a lot about Jesse Lingard in the second half of the season. Iniesta's numbers are very familiar. Similar, to Lingard's numbers in the second half of the season. He really got on a run. I was actually a little surprised Vardy started, frankly, although Vardy did get the winner. I do expect Vardy to probably play through August, and then it'll start to be some rotation. Vardy's probably still the alpha male there, the big dog in the change room. I think I think you summed it up pretty well. I think that Leicester will try and keep their shape a bit more. It's an away game to West Ham. So I think that West Ham will feel, and it would be interesting to see how West Ham react, given that it's their first home game in a while. We've talked about the fans and the team not having the best connect. Has that been fixed by the time away? Has that been fixed by West Ham's improved performance? And West Ham have times struggled for an identity. They've got an identity under Moyes now that I think the fans can connect to. So I'm really hoping that bridge between the players and the fans really gets connected. I think West Ham will be inclined to go forward, but like you said, in a manner that doesn't leave holes at the back. You did mention about Declan Rice. He will start the season slowly. That's just natural. He played pretty much every minute of the Euros. Not a great tournament, but a good and noteworthy tournament. And Antonio, he's a beast, man. Have you seen the way he fits his shirt? Like, people carry on about Traore. Like, I'd be more scared of Antonio, to be honest. Traore he's really big, but Antonio, it's like chiseled muscle, you know?
And
he looks like a marble statue.
Yeah, and he does a little bit of everything. So because he started off as a right back, I don't know if you know.
He plays a lot of positions.
4-5 seasons, he just plays everywhere. He's John O'Shea and crack, you know, in a sense. He's a little bit of everything.
Classy athletic John O'Shea.
He's not, you could say Bruno's second best in the world at everything. Antonio's like fourth best of the world at everything, at every skill. he's that kind of player. You trust him to play almost anywhere, potentially even in goals. Yeah, he's a solid player. I do seem, like I said before, I expect him to bully, coming in from the left, coming in from the right, bullying the smaller player, allowing Souček to run forward, allowing Benrahma to forward to get, because West Ham are a good unit. They don't rely too much on individual creativity, because you saw when Jesse came in last year, that was the one that was a huge thing for them, because there's one Dimitri Payet-esque, Di Canio-esque player.
But Lingard's always been good at linking teammates. That was his use in the United squads, that he could get the ball and give and go and transition with players.
My point being that it showed how much that West Ham didn't have a superstar, but it's not a bad thing. They just didn't have a kind of a shining star, and it worked well against Newcastle, and I expect it to work against Leeds. Shyam, what do you think? What about you? Who are you leaning for in this game?
I think, given it's a West Ham home game, I think the fact that they've got less players out, I think that they'll get them over the line. This is going to be a proper battle. I'm really looking forward to it. Souček, I think, becomes very important. He's very unheralded. A lot of the talk is about Declan Rice. I think Souček is just as responsible as Rice for the success of that combination. He is allowed by Rice's stability in front of defense to push forward more. But he's got double-digit goals in his first season in the Premier League. If he was a striker, we'd be carrying on about how good a striker he was to do that. So, I think that West Ham have got enough to get over a Leicester team that is missing probably a couple too many.
Yeah, and I just want to touch on Leicester, who've kind of gone on a bit at West Ham. The thing about Rodgers, I think, have developed as a manager. I think he used his time at Celtic to do things that he couldn't do at Liverpool, which I think has become more defensively astute coach, whether it's relying on a defensive coach or with his own incorporating defense into his own. He has attacking prowess. I would put him up there, one of the best attacking managers in the game. I think with Vestergaard coming in, it's going to give Tielemans and Ndidi a little bit more freedom, maybe more confidence in this game to do a bit more, because when Tielemans is unleashed, it's a different player, man. He's one of the best in the world at what he does. So it's going to be interesting there, but I don't think that Leicester relies a lot on individual brilliance and counter-attacking, and they just don't have those players, even those defensive players going forward. It's just going to be a big ask for them to get a win a draw could be in the works, but I just don't think so.
Vestergaard is a good player, but ask him a lot of him in his first game. He's not going to be at that level immediately. I think he's a very good pickup for Leicester. Probably a bad loss for Southampton. I think they might even get relegated now without him. But I think that you look at this. You look at Rodgers' journey. He was at Swansea with a very pass-oriented team. He was at Liverpool with that sort of big three, that front three of Sterling, Suarez, Sturridge. And then he's gone and tried different things to Celtic and become a bit more rounded. A lot of managers have, like Guardiola, Klopp, they have quite, what their philosophy is. Rodgers seems to be a little different. He seems it seems to develop and evolve a bit more so than other managers. So it's good to see that. It'll be interesting to see, because I do feel he's trying to make Leicester a bit more progressive with the ball and a bit more less reliant on the counter attack and things like that. So I think he's doing a great job with them. I just don't think that they'll if they get a point this week, they'll be, I think, fortunate to get a point. I don't think West Ham will win by a lot, but I do think West Ham will win.
Yeah, and it just comes down to the fact that they have too many injuries to them, and I think they're a better team overall if they do have it. Any closing thoughts on that, Shyam?
No, I think that's I think your last thought there. I think Leicester are a better team than West Ham, but that's with both teams at their best at the moment. It would be interesting to see if West Ham go and get Jesse Lingard. I'd love to see him do it. Maybe they're waiting as late as they can to bring the price down, but I'd love to see them go and get Jesse Lingard. I think he was such a great influence in that team last year.
He was, yeah. I mean, his energy, the smile on his face, a bit of a Dwight York kind of character. Similar position as well, give and go, makes everyone look good and himself at the same time. Just one thing, can I get a player to watch this game? A very entertaining. I can't wait for this game, to be honest.
I'm going to go with Souček. I think that he could be the difference between the teams.
You do love a bit of Souček, yeah. I'm going to go with Tielemans myself. Interesting battle is going to be. Actually, both of them, they're going to go.
The two eights, the gung ho at each other. That's a proper battle.
And it's two eights who can play in almost any team in the league as well. They choose to play where they're playing.
It's funny because when we were growing up watching the game, it was all about Keane versus Vieira or those midfield battles. As we've gotten older, it's been more about the forwards. But we're talking here about sort of a good old midfield battle.
Classic midfield battle, absolutely.
I was thinking this game will look like a proper, that stereotype of the Premier League. Two teams, high tempo, going at each other, trying to outmuscle each other, trying to outplay, out-tempo each other. It will be an entertaining game.
All right, perfect. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe. As always, we appreciate the support. Whoever's watching, whoever's commenting, keep it up. Let us know who you think is going to win this game. What I think is going to be the most exciting game for me of the round. We are the 5-Bet Pass. My name is Suddy. This is Shyam. Keep football simple. And as always,
keep passing, guys. Cheers.